I'll speak first. Oh no! What did Michael say? I'm declining to speak first. You make.
It's pretty easy, Michael. You know, it's ever since we merged the two offices.
Hey, did you know that you can watch The Office now streaming on Peacock? Bring, bring, bring. Hey, don't name your streaming service Peacock.
NBC Go.
Oh my gosh. Peacock? Really, guys?
There's nothing else there besides The Office that I care about.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I didn't even check how much it costs a month because I'm not going to get it.
Have you ever been around a real peacock?
Yes.
Have you seen these things?
Mm-hmm. They're nice.
They're majestic creatures. They're really
they're big.
And they you want me to do the sound? I think I can do the sound, but I got to get away from the mic for it. I can do a pretty good peacock.
Okay.
It's one of those cliched sounds you're like, what is that? It's like the sound in a jungle you just hear in the background in a movie, but this is a peacock. Right here we go. That's the peacock. That's what they sound like. My ex-wife, her parents had a place in Florida that they resided at, and they had a peacock.
They owned the peacock?
Yeah, they had a peacock.
They owned it?
Yeah, they owned it.
That's wild.
Yeah, they have a peacock down there. Lived there. They wandered around. Dude, they're like dinosaurs.
I don't know why I didn't think that you could own one.
Well, they had it was a massive property. It was like free range where there was just animals around. And one of them was a peacock, and I just, and it does the whole thing, and and it does it's like the shimmering. Their feathers, when they their plumage, it shimmers, and it does this wonderful sound. It's like
plumage is hilarious.
Yeah, plumage.
This is words you don't hear on the regular.
Yeah, plumage. But yeah, man, peacock. And dude, they can fly. Like, they could legit, like, this dude was like doing a shimmering, and then full sprint, like a raptor, and just takes off these big wings and went like up, 100 feet into a tree, doing that whole thing. And I was just like, yo, this is crazy, man.
Cool. Remind me of what the Phoenix would look like.
Yeah.
Do you see they speaking of raptors, you seen that they're on the brink of like discovering the largest dinosaur now, like an even larger one?
An even larger one. What's the biggest one?
I thought it was the brontosaurus.
The brachiosaurus, the big long neck, as they call them in The Land Before Time.
Littlefoot,
long neck. She's like, you long neck. Mm-hmm. I'm like, so racist. Back even then. We don't play with the long necks. It's like, three horns is what they called it. Yeah, it was Sarah. Wow, it was Sarah.
And Petrie.
What an asshole Sarah was.
Petrie.
My
Ducky.
gosh, she was a total jerk.
Petrie was the pterodactyl, and Ducky was the
Ducky, yeah, the little guy.
Ducky was the thing.
That one thing.
I forgot the name of the dinosaur.
Anyway, so they're on the brink of finding a massive dinosaur, huh? Where is this?
Yeah, no, I gotta look more. I don't remember now. My memory's bad for I remember a lot of weird things, but this one I don't remember.
But there's one that's going to be the biggest.
Yeah, like they think they found like the new biggest dinosaur ever.
Man.
Did you see that? Man, why can't I remember now? Michael Crichton wrote the book, but Steven Spielberg with Jurassic Park.
Crichton.
With Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that? Did you know that the Velociraptor is not what you see in the movie?
Yeah. In the past 30 years, they've made a lot of discoveries that have kind of made those movies a little obsolete in terms of what they look like. They're more bird-like, right? Is what we heard, like more feathers.
The real dinosaur, the Velociraptor, is tiny. It's like the size of a turkey. It's like tiny.
What?
It's very tiny. The Velociraptor is tiny. Like the dinosaur they went for was like a different name or whatever, but the real Velociraptor was small.
Like a little turkey.
Yeah, it was like smaller. But they wanted something. They wanted something aggressive and mean looking for the movie or whatever.
Aggressive and vicious. You ever get around a turkey? He doesn't want you around? Yeah, man. Whew.
Not in the wild.
But watch out.
No.
They have them in Colonial Williamsburg, and they'll just come up and just start running after you and chase after little kids. It's pretty funny. Yeah. Animals are just crazy to think about. Like, imagine a freaking dinosaur. like How big is T-Rex? Like tall? Like how many feet tall?
Oh, I don't know.
They're massive, right? I mean, they're like 20 feet tall or something like that.
I still think the arms on that thing are wrong. Something's weird there.
How tall is a Tyrannosaurus Rex?
Tyrannosaurus Rex is dead. And
12 feet. I was way off. But 12 feet is still very tall.
That can't be right. That just seems wrong.
Well, yeah, Wikipedia.
That just seems wrong.
12 feet. But their length, ready? Any takers? Any guesses on the length? How long were T-Rexes, do you think, Tony Barrios?
30.
40 feet long. So imagine a 12-foot freaking thing, and their body is long and their tail was long. 12 feet tall is massive, dude. It's a taller than our, excuse me, sorry about that.
No, it's big. It's 12 stories
12
up.
feet.
No, not 12 stories up. It's a story.
12, yeah, it's over. It's
that seems
12
wrong.
feet.
That seems wrong. I don't know. If it is, it is. I don't know. I got
well, look here. I mean, this is probably a 9-foot ceiling? 10 feet ceiling?
I'm just trying to think. Like, I remember in New York, the skeleton of the T-Rex, I don't feel like it would fit height-wise in this room. Or even in that garage.
You're right. It's big. Let's you know what? You know what we do? And we preach it all the time? Let's fact check. Let's do a little fact checking. But no one was really around during the T-Rex day, so...
but we have the skeleton, so we have a general idea how tall this thing should be.
All right, here we go. Ready?
The sound and stuff, when people are like, we barely know what they look like, but we know the sound of the all these things.
All right, who do we trust here?
I trust the Smithsonian.
How about National Geographic?
That's
a reputable source. Here we go. Named the king of the tyrant lizards.
Tyrannosaurus.
T-Rex was built to rule.
Rex for king.
All right, here we go. Size 40 feet long, 12 feet tall. That's National Geographic. That's now 2.
That's fine. That's enough for me.
How about the world's biggest T-Rex discovered in Canada? 9.8 tons of an animal. Here we go. They said this one the biggest one. Oh, they nicknamed him Scotty. All right, here we go. How tall is Scotty? Dude, I am scrolling, and you know what? I'm not finding it, so guess what? You're out. Never going to know about Scotty.
I don't know why I thought it was taller than that.
Yeah, 12 feet.
I guess perspective, when you're standing under it, you're more impressed with the massive size of it. It kind of throws off.
Dimensions.com. Who the hell is that?
I don't know who that is.
Apparently, they specialize in dimensions. Tyrannosaurus Rex was 40 feet in length with a height of 17 feet. That's a big difference. That's another person. That's dimensions.com. Who else do we trust?
Still very big. I don't know why I thought it was. I don't know why I thought it was bigger than that though. For some reason.
Were you really into dinosaurs as a kid?
Yeah.
A lot of boys are. It's funny. Well, I like dinosaurs too. I was a big fan. I almost screwed the pooch on that one.
Okay.
Anyway,
story for another day.
For another day. Yeah. It's like with little boys. It's like, what do you want? You want dinosaurs? You want space? When you're decorating, you know what I mean? It's like, what do you want? You want dinosaurs or space? It's like, I was a huge dinosaur fan. I had all the plastic big figures.
Yeah, I imprinted my own preferences on my son. I wrapped his room in comic book art.
Oh, yeah. He'll probably hate comic books.
Yeah, he likes it so far. He likes Batman and all that stuff. So.
Oh, I know. I'm just messing.
And that's the stuff that's around his room.
I was never into the comics. I occasionally I would purchase a comic. I had a couple of X-Men comics. I think I was kind of into the X-Men, but like comic books in general, like with the superheroes that we all know and love, nope, just wasn't.
I still got some. The last of the recent stuff I got, I wanted to get more into the brand new stuff that's coming out, but the most recent one I got, and it's not even recent, but the newest one I got about a year or two ago was when Captain America got killed for the Civil War. Like I was following those issues, the actual Civil War comic, and then I got like wrapped and sealed the ones where he actually died.
Kids these days, like younger kids, like 9, 10, 11-year-old boys and girls, I mean, are they reading comic books, parents? Like, are they seeking out comic books, or are they just into the games and the YouTube? Like, you know what I mean?
I think comics are still very much a thing.
Are they?
Yeah, no, it's huge.
Why do you say that?
I think they're still very collectible. I think it's still fun. It's just still. I don't think that group necessarily has disappeared. I think it's still around.
Well, no, I'm not saying they're disappeared. I think they've gotten older. I don't know if the younger generations of kids are seeking out comics. That was my question.
I have no idea.
Oh, of course, all of the kids that collected comics, that they're all our age now or older in some cases. And of course, they still love it. But I wonder if, like, you know, your average 10-year-old that did the floss for a whole year, the floss stands, I wonder if they're seeking out comic books. It doesn't seem like they would.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I seen that Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, the physical cards, are still like surging.
Pokemon cards are still very
incredibly
popular.
They're incredibly sought after.
I was teaching third, fourth, fifth graders at kindergarten for a while there, and a number of kids had their Pokemon card collections. I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, did y'all know that I had the original Pokemon game on Game Boy? It's red and blue. And they were just like, hey, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I really liked Pokemon the game. I was into the game, never did the card thing. Never did the whole card thing, but I did play the Game Boy game.
We did a little bit of everything. We used to go outside and meet up and do the whole card thing. We did Pokemon Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, bro, how about, did you ever do Pogs?
For a little bit.
Pogs was like a summer. It was, or not a summer. It was like a one little moment in time where Pogs was a thing. And they had those they had the containers that held all the Pogs, and then you'd have your Pog slammers. I didn't even know how to play the game. I just like,
if I remember, all you were doing was flipping them over, and it's like whatever you flipped over, you kept or whatever.
That, yeah.
And then depending on the friends you played with, some of them you kept
like
for real. Like you would keep like,
like if we were to play,
if I flipped yours, it's mine now.
And then you would fist fight each other and then go home and cry and do it all again the next day. How about, I'm just thinking of like middle school years and elementary school years of little moments in time of like toys and fads. The Digimon, the little pocket monsters. And then what was the one that a lot of the girls liked too?
Tamagotchi.
The Tamagotchi. I like the Tamagotchi. That was massively popular, dude.
That was huge.
Everybody had one, it seemed like.
The Digimon was cool.
Digimon was a little monster.
You would train it on your own, and then you take it to your buddies and go
and
fight.
You could battle. And then there was
link them together and you fought. There was a sumo wrestler one.
Yes. What was that one called?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Pocket Fighter. Not Pocket Fighter. That was a Street Fighter game. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, where you could fight your actual like sumo dude.
That was back in the TI-83 calculator days,
bro.
When people would load up different games. We had a drug dealer game on that was going around the school. It was like sell whatever and.
That's funny, dude. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I normally do this one, but for some reason my back is kind of
we're all good.
In a weird kink.
We had it was weird games there, like all text-based games, obviously.
I was really into algebra and math in the TI-83. It was one of my strong suits in school. I liked math. That's freaking weird, right?
It's terrible at math.
And I programmed a little Dragon Ball Z game. This was at Corporate Landing when I was in 7th or 8th grade, because you could draw on it, remember? And I would look at a photo of like Goku, and I would sit there and I made it, and it was like a little, it was like 6 pages long, and you could there was a choice on each screen, so you choose B, then you go to this screen, and I was very, very proud of that. But I remember Snake and all the games on the
Snake was wild.
TI-83 calculators. That's so funny.
The first phone I had, that was the only game I had was Snake.
Snake,
like
Nokia.
Nokia
that was,
something.
Nokia. That was the thing. It's like you had a Nokia, you were the Snake master.
Nokia, whatever. Yeah.
Anybody ever get to the end of Snake?
I don't know that there is an end.
Well, you get so long that you
don't fit on the screen
that you wouldn't
anymore?
fit. I mean, what happens? Game over.
That's like I think Pac-Man has an ending.
Pac-Man has an ending,
and it just gets to one point where it just tilts. Like that's the end. It runs out of memory. Something like that. Like there's
I remember going to Pizza Hut. They're starting to come back.
Pizza Huts.
The Pizza Hut where you would go there and actually eat at Pizza Hut, like the restaurant. Where they had the salad bar, and they had the big red oversized booths, and they had that stained glass, hanging lights, the giant, massive stained glass lights
that we needed for the video,
the light structures. The what?
That we needed for the video.
That we would, to do the Goodfellas scene. But I remember going there, and they had the Pac-Man machine where it was like a table, and you'd look down at it. You know what I'm talking about? Where you could sit 4 people around it like that. They had like Excite Bike and Pac-Man.
Yeah, Joyce's dad got that. He likes arcade machines.
That's pretty cool.
He has a few. He has bar top arcade machines too.
What does that mean?
Like the ones when you go to a bar, like some bars have like an actual arcade machine on the bar. And
I've never seen this.
It's just like a big old screen. and then you play like solitaire. You play different like card games and stuff like that,
Huh.
and some.
I might have seen that.
They got
I
it.
never knew it as as an arcade machine though.
Mhm.
I've seen like the little kiosk looking thing.
Yeah, no, this
That's
thing
probably,
just
we were
sits-
probably talking
sits
about
right
the
on the
same
bar. I
thing.
forgot what it's
Yeah.
called. It's like Mega Touch, I think is what it's called.
That's cool.
Um,
Dude, you want to hear something crazy? I was in Cambodia, of all places, and I was at a bar, and they were playing Jenga. They had Jenga sets, and they had all these, it was all women bartenders, and they would come over and they would flirt with you and be sweet on you and all this, and they would, they had Jenga and they had checkers. And let me tell you something, they'd like want to bet you, and you'd like bet them. These were freaking assassin Jenga players.
Jenga?
They were assassins, dude. They were so freaking good. To the point where it was very funny to me. I just thought it was so funny that they were just hustling all these American Marines out of their freaking their American dollar bills because they were just so good at Jenga. But I always remember that going, man, that was a random thing to do at a bar. We're playing Jenga like on the bar top. Yeah, so that was
placing
kinda
bets on Jenga is funny.
Placing bets on Jenga.
I mean, we come from the generation you were placing bets on who could whoop who in whatever video game. The last time I did a video game tournament was with Nick.
Video game tournament.
Yeah, we went, and it was not even an official thing. It was like I forgot
It was like a
how
get together, right?
I
Like
forgot
around
how
town.
he found out. Yeah, like he
He used to go to a lot of the these big gatherings.
he took me one time to like somebody's. He was like, "Yeah, we're going to a tournament." He pulled up to it was like somebody's apartment with like 20 people in there. TVs
Massive,
everywhere on
TVs
the
everywhere,
floor.
a bunch of different consoles.
Yeah, TVs on the floor, and there was like sign up or whatever, and they just did a legit tournament. It was like $20 there, and then whoever won kept it or whatever. And
Dang, they do first, second, third place winner?
yes,
That'd be nice.
That was
That'd
the
be
last
good.
time I
That'd
did
be
like
good.
any kind of tournament or whatever.
No, I never.
He was going to like didn't he go to
He
New
would
York
travel.
once?
Yeah, he would. No, he traveled many
think
times.
he went to
go,
New York to play
compete.
Eargeese.
Yeah, to compete.
And he won that one.
That's a big. That's a whole different world that a lot of people don't know exists. There's like this, these fighting game tournaments where they'll go and they'll rent out like the Hilton Ballroom.
Yeah, I heard it's required for you not to bathe.
It's called Speed Stick. It ain't expensive. It's called Speed Stick.
Why,
that's so
man?
funny.
Why? Them
why must-
rooms, those rooms have like
apparently,
a fog, like it's like an entity that they bring with them. Dude.
that
Like,
it's heavy. That air is heavy.
for some reason, I don't get
heavy
it. I don't
air.
get it. It's
But
not
that's
so
a
bad.
whole-
It's not so bad with the cosplayers. Like we went there 3 years to the cosplay convention in
Down in North Carolina, right?
yeah,
Raleigh.
Those are way cooler than I thought they would be.
Bro, I've always wanted to go to a con, as they
Oh no,
say.
and there was, I think they said like in one weekend they got 100,000 people. It
That's
was
a lot of
wild,
people.
and like if you don't go dressed, you're the weirdo.
Really?
Like it's like a lot, and they're
Like, you
having
bet- you
fun.
better-
They're
you
having
better-
fun. I
yeah.
never had a bad experience. Nobody was rude. Everybody was just there to have fun, and
It seems like
they were
such
all
a fun
taking pictures
time.
with each other. Everyone that went was like, of course I'll take a picture with you. Let's go. Like they were loving that stuff. And then they have like contests and there's like celebrity appearances and stuff. Like they had a
That's
blast.
so neat, man. I tell you, some of the cosplay that I see on the internet is unbelievable. It looks like movie costumes.
Yeah,
Like,
some
like
of
better
them is
than-
too much.
better
Like,
than movies.
yeah,
Like, better than movies.
They're getting professional. Like there's professional cosplayers. Like that's what they're doing. They're
Like,
going to do
well,
appearances
they're
and stuff. Like
influencers now. They call them,
Yeah.
on Instagram and stuff like that.
some of them build their own stuff. Like just their whole
I'll tell you what
suit.
I always wanted to do, and it's no longer. I don't think it's ever going to be a thing. At least not the way it used to be. Was I always wanted to go to E3, the Electronics Expo, E3, big in the game world.
Well,
that
it's
was like the
been-
big E3 conference, was the convention for video gamers and gamers in general. That was the place to be.
Yeah, no, the whole pandemic squashed that, but E3
But even
specifically
E3 was kinda
going
on
away.
the-
And to an extent, kind of, I'm a fan of it being diminished. In that, if you ever follow this podcast, I'm always a fan of creators really controlling their stuff. And for Sony to say, "Nah, we don't need a third party, whatever. We're gonna do our own conferences. We're gonna, control our product and really control the ways." Like I'm a fan of that.
Yes.
Fight against the norm or whatever. Shake things up,
You're
disrupt
right.
the market.
You're right, 'cause
Because
they all have
E3
their own
was like
thing
the
now.
end all be all at one point.
Right.
And it was like unless you showed your stuff there, like I like the fact, and this is going to be like a parallel conversation. I like the fact that the internet has made the average Joe able to start a business from their room, and you have a voice that can be heard by millions from your room. I like that.
It's so cool.
At the same time, I don't like how toxic it can get to where it's like, where do you get off on the arrogance to think that your voice is the only one that matters? And I think a lot of times in the gaming industry and movies to an extent, probably, I don't follow movies as much as I follow video games.
Yeah.
In the gaming industry, it's terrible because one guy can have a review. He's got 1 million subscribers or whatever, and he's just got a poor review. He probably played that game 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's like the game just came out. You already said it's horrible, and you tank the sales of this thing, and it's like, it's terrible. The plus side is when games come out and they're broken and ruined and stuff like that, the voice can be so overwhelming that companies have to change. I like that. But it goes with E3. You know, it's like, that became the end all be all, you know, the reviews and all this stuff and how you showed and stuff like that. And it's like, I think these guys woke up and it's like, why should I spend so much money to go do an expo for somebody else? I can do this myself.
E3 was like this, it was like the one time a year where all these major companies, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, you know, Ubisoft, Activision, like all these big publishers too, not just the giants, but all the publishers and even to a certain extent the game developers would like they try to one up each other every year with these presentations.
It's very fun because
like was nuts. They had like I can't remember what game it was, but they had like a full on like Japanese instrument orchestra up there with it would look like a Broadway show to introduce some fucking game nobody cared about a year later.
I think they did that for Ghost of Tsushima, though.
It was unreal.
I think they did that for Ghost of Tsushima, if I remember right.
When this is something a long time ago. Maybe it was that, but it seems like a long, long time ago. But it was just, I always wanted to go, and I don't think I'll probably ever be able to anymore. Because it's not what it was. It's just not.
No, it's for sure it's not what it was. And I think Sony has decided they're never going back, even if it was a thing. Like they just not.
They do their own thing. Yeah. I guess I can go to Comic-Con. You ever been to Comic-Con? Like the actual one out in San Diego, out in California?
No, I only went to the one on the East Coast.
The one over here. Very similar, I bet. Probably just
I think it's the size. I think the size is the second. It's the only one that's second to that.
I think that's the one on the East Coast, the one that you go to, the Raleigh one, the Raleigh convention. It does look fun because you know it's funny. The movie industry many years ago figured out that that's where a lot of their audience is at Comic-Con. So Comic-Con now out in California is yes, of course. It started as a convention for comics and comic book people, but now it's become something completely different. Now it's like movie studios are out there, actors are out there, even game companies are out there at Comic-Con now, and it's become like a cosplay thing, and it's much bigger than what it was.
Yeah, no, for businesses, it's a huge resource because it's like you're not going to get any better information than when you go there. Those are your consumers. Like it or not or whatever, you don't need to do this big marketing firm research. Go there and go to where your actual consumers are. Meet them. See how they talk. See how they dress. See how they live their life.
Yeah.
Get a little bit informed. Be ingrained in the culture that's kind of dictating the success of your content.
Whenever I think of conventions, you ever see those clips of the Star Wars Celebration convention? Have you ever seen this?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so it's a convention, right, at a big convention center, and it's every year they do Star Wars Celebration.
With Star Wars and Star Trek fans, it's just a whole different breed of human.
Bro, it's like a sea of it looks like 1,000 people with plastic toys, like plastic lightsabers.
It's cool if that's your thing, but
they're just. I always thought it was funny. Like, there's this great clip, and I'll show it to you after the show. Look it up. It's so funny. At least it's funny to me. It might not be funny to you, but when The Force Awakens, the new Star Wars movie that came out in 2015, they showed the trailer at Star Wars Celebration. It was the first time it was seen, and like just seeing like a bunch of grown men like weeping in the crowd, like weeping, like really, really disturbed by how emotional they were at this movie trailer for Star Wars. And I'm only laughing because I think it's kind of funny, but and here's the thing, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, huge. I know all the stuff. I love those movies. I love all of it, but
you didn't cry, so you're not really a fan.
I guess I'm not. But I mean, just grown men weeping and like holding each other, and it's really happening. Like it's just.
Yeah, some are more sentimental than others. Roll, I guess dude. It's not for me.
But you know what's funny, dude? I'll cry and weep a little if a song hits me the right way. If I'm thinking, you know what I mean, or a piece of even a movie. Dude, I've watched movies where I've gotten absolutely emotional. So I can't. I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing at the fact that it's just cool, man. It's cool that people get touched by different things. Ew. Yeah. It's just awesome, man. And it's great to see people passionate. But again, that's where your audience is. That's where your fans are. You got to go to the conventions, baby. Maybe we should set up a booth at the Comic-Con this year. Tsunami Digital Media.
No, but we should set a booth up whenever they do conventions for real. It's got to be the right convention.
Yeah.
Of course. My last job, they were big on the whole convention things over there at Hermes.
Mm-hmm. Getting together with all the...
They were big on, if there was a transmission convention, I got to be there. I got to show my product.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense. Got to identify your market and go.
It's crazy. Those kind of things aren't happening anymore. At least not for the foreseeable future.
No.
These conventions.
Wavy TV, and this has to do with just things not happening anymore.
Excuse me.
Wavy TV put a real clickbaity title.
Oh,
Recently.
no. Really?
Yeah, they put that Northam's... the health restrictions and the directions or whatever that I don't know why the word doesn't come to me right now.
Directives?
The directives and stuff that having to do with the the handling of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
The title was Northam makes those permanent. I'm a kind of a student of language and behavior, if I could put it that way. If you tell me it's permanent, forever and ever, amen. It's permanent.
Is that what he said?
What he said was, and it's just a mincing of words. This is going to be the standard until we decide to change it, and they're going to review it in like 2-3 weeks, is what they said.
Okay, so not permanent.
This is
Possibly
not,
permanent.
This is not permanent. This is not permanent.
No.
So permanent to me, what forever and ever, amen. That's permanent.
There's nothing permanent except death. Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about Comic-Con now. I want to go.
I'm thinking about the permanence of death, and
oh yeah, no, I said that, and then it just
if that is debatable, that's why I paused. So I've been watching Cheers a lot.
Oh yeah, let's get a quote, dude. I got a good one too. I got a great one.
And in Cheers, Coach was a very cool character. He's funny.
Cheers is a sitcom that was on television. About
if they're watching this, they know what Cheers.
I know.
Is. The few people that do, I kind of noticed like you guys.
Yeah, we know who the audience is. They know what
kids.
Cheers is. What a great freaking theme song too. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, that's great.
We're gonna pump that through these speakers too.
So Coach says, loneliness is a good thing to share with someone.
Yeah, man.
And I love that.
I like that one a lot.
I love that.
That's a really great quote. I like that a lot.
That is the truth.
Man, that's a wonderful quote. It is very true. It's a good one. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I like that one.
We talked about before when we started doing business together. I don't know why these conversations have kind of evolved into different things or whatever, but we talked about before that to be present is a blessing.
It really is, isn't it?
The blessing of presence. Mm-hmm. And an overarching theme in this is I think we agree that a lot of times we say things as far as advice to the crowd that's really more of advice to ourselves. And we say a lot of times,
oh no, you told them.
Your opinion does not need to be injected everywhere. When I say that, it sounds like I'm talking to you. I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it out loud
we're
because
talking to each other for
I
sure.
want to hear myself, remind myself,
Yeah.
your opinion does not need to be injected everywhere.
Sure.
And we need to never underestimate the gift of presence. Sometimes just be present. Shut your mouth.
Just shut the hell up for a
Your
minute.
voice does not need to be injected in this particular topic. Sometimes your friends and loved ones will just open their heart and just squeeze pus out of different wounds, and then I'm having trouble with the XYZ, whatever the heck.
Here's one that goes along with that.
Just silent.
My wife told me the other day, it was like, sometimes it's better to listen to understand instead of listen to reply.
Oh, that's the
golden
challenge.
rule. And I have so much work to do with that, man. I do.
Well, it's like, are you hearing me or are you listening?
Right. Are you really hearing me?
Oh, are you listening? Like, I heard you, but I didn't listen to the thing you said. You know what I mean? That happens all the time.
Physically, I actually, the sound I heard.
Yeah, I heard it, but did I listen?
Here's a good one for you, dude. And this one, take a little bit different of a turn here. This is a good one. Men marry women with the hope they will never change.
Who will never? Okay, sorry.
Women marry men with the hope they will change. Invariably, they are both disappointed.
Okay.
It's interesting. Men marry women with the hope they will never change. And women marry men with the hope they will change. Invariably, they are both disappointed. Do you know who said that?
Who?
Albert Einstein.
Did you hear him say this?
I heard him say. He said it to me, actually.
Cite your source. But I said that to Vic the other day.
Is that to my son? Yeah, well, he claimed something.
He said something that was true, but I'm just messing with him. I was like, cite your source. Who told you that?
Cite your source. Yeah, we were over at Cracker Barrel.
Don't tell me what you heard.
Yeah. Well, somebody said this. Okay, well, where'd they hear that from?
Because Billy is not going to get my attention. I'm sorry. Like, it's just, I don't care what 7-year-old Billy said to you.
Cite your sources. Dude. Maybe that's the title. There you go. Cite your sources.
So in line with what you said right there.
Yeah.
Do people change?
Yeah.
Elaborate.
If you're not changing, you're dead.
Well, varying degrees. Because I have argued the point that people change less than maybe we realize, maybe is the point I bring. Because sometimes I use too broad of terms. I say people don't change, but I don't mean that in the literal sense. I get granular and talk about who you are for real, like that. The spirit of who you are, I don't think changes as much as people tend to think. I think some surface level things change. I think we make some adaptations and we learn how to, maybe not be so quick to anger, maybe not be so volatile with our responses.
Your anger is kind of always going to be there, and that doesn't change.
I think maybe, well, no, that depends how ingrained that is in you. Maybe anger is not something that's a core part of who Matt is. You know what I mean? Like,
do you think core parts of who you are can be changed by situations that happen to you outside factors?
It varies. I think I look at myself, I look at certain things that I trust. I learn to trust less, for better or for worse. I learned to trust less because of things that happen. So yeah, there's a change there, but I'd argue that I already had trust issues inherently. I kind of already didn't really.
You were born with them?
I don't know born, because I don't remember what I felt when I was born.
Well, I know, but
I think very early on, I think some of that culturally, some of that parenting wise, culturally is probably the best word. I think culturally from very little, I was kind of conditioned to be careful out here. The world is mean and ugly. I think from very little I was conditioned that way. I don't think it's unfortunate. I think it's how you process that. I think it's how you handle yourself, and do you let that destroy you? Do you let that just be something that you just have an antenna up at all times? Do you just,
like, how young do you think
you keep careful?
Like you were literally telling yourself, I better watch out. This world is rough.
I can't remember a time where I didn't think that way. I can't remember a time where I didn't think that way at all, to be honest. And I don't feel the least bit bad about that. I think that's fine. I don't think realizing the world can be a cold place is the worst thing in the world. I don't think realizing that there's beauty in the world also is bad either. Then there's a balance. You got to see both. This world is not perfect. We are not perfect. I don't know how else to put it. I don't think there's always, dude, there's bad people out here. There's just bad people that's just like, it seems like just like, dude, you got to just stay away. And then there's great people out here. You got to kind of mind it and be careful and be very selective and be wise with your decisions and not open your heart to every single person. We talked about it before. I'm a big proponent of don't tell every single person what you feel. I think social media is terrible at that. You do not need to open your heart to people that don't care about you left and right. Like, this is not just you gush out your feelings online. There's people there that are very predatory and very mean and just use that stuff against you later. It's just the reality. I mean, we can ignore it and say, that's not the way it is, but I think that's 100% the way it is to certain people. That's why you got to be selective with your circles. That's why as I've gotten older, my circle has gotten smaller and smaller. Not that I hate people, not that I walk around scared, but it doesn't surprise me when things kind of fall through. It doesn't surprise me. I'm just constantly just careful, aware. Tell me, why would you think that's a bad thing necessarily? That's sad or bad?
Oh, I don't think it is.
Oh, okay.
I was just picking your brain, buddy.
I thought your initial response was that's bad. Like, man, that's unfortunate.
I did say that. I don't remember feeling. I don't really remember young, like 7, 8, 9, 10, worrying about the bad, cold world out there and worried then knowing that there were bad people. I just remember baseball. I remember reading a Calvin and Hobbes comic book every morning. Those things I don't remember. I don't ever. We just there's something I can't relate to. And
I don't think worry.
My parents never taught. I don't remember hearing that as a kid.
I don't think worry is the word that I would describe it. I think aware. I don't think I don't.
Oh, I wasn't aware.
I don't think I have the least bit of a sad upbringing at all. I don't look back at any moment as like sad, like man, like I was never scared growing up or nothing like that.
Yeah, I never said sad either.
I just think very little. From a very young age, I was just kind of like, yeah, no. I remember fighting as a very young kid. I remember fighting people that I thought was like very close friends. I remember having like disagreements roll into just things that got real negative. And just like, I thought that person was my best friend at the time. I remember being very young, probably like 8, 9, 10 years old, around that age, where somebody that I thought was my best friend, and I could remember like fist fighting, and like crowds of people around like egging that on. And I look back
8?
8, 9, 10 years old.
Crowds of people, where? In second grade?
Dude, we're out there.
Where were the crowds?
Of other friends. I remember this very clearly. I remember like, around that age.
Really?
I could even name names. I remember stuff. What's funny? I remember the first time I got like in trouble at home. I remember this. Like there's certain things that like, well, you know what? I can remember my first memory of that. Not that was the first time. I'm sure my parents could say, no, before that you got in trouble a whole bunch of times.
I never remember like fist fights in elementary school, especially not in second grade.
Oh no,
maybe I just went to a different.
I remember stuff like for sure. I could tell you stuff like third, fourth grade easily. I could tell you names and places and time frames. And I say all that not to be super sad. I'm just saying that this is just a level of awareness and different environment that we grew up in.
Now, where were you? Were you in Virginia Beach back then?
Mm-hmm. I was over here for most of my life. I can't claim growing up in New York. We went back and forth a little bit to visit family and stuff like that, but that dwindled down a lot towards the later years in life.
What elementary school did you go to?
Went to Virginia Beach Elementary. I went to elementary school in New York a little bit. I think it was like 1 or 2 grades in New York, and then over here I went to Virginia Beach Elementary over there in the oceanfront, and then I went to a little bit of Corporate Landing.
Huh. Corporate Landing Elementary.
But we grew up over there in Harper Square. Different time. It was a fun time. You hang out a lot. You saw your friends when you were going around looking for bicycles and stuff like that. That's how you go knock on doors to find out what your friend was doing. And we would take games back and forth and stuff like that.
That's crazy. There was like full on like when I think of crowd and like a fight, like I'm thinking like high school. Like I remember that happened.
That happened in high school too. That happened in high school.
I just remember second grade. I'm like, oh, like that's sad to me. Like second graders, like.
Oh no, dude,
learning how to do cursive and
no, we learned how to do that too. And we learned how to do.
Like no. Hey, I'm not, dude. No, I'm just thinking as an old 35-year-old. Like I'm just trying to remember those times. And
I look back and think that's wild. I look back and think that's crazy that kids just like have that that level of feeling. It's crazy. Like why would you do that? Like of course I look back. It's like man, like it's funny. Like today, like I try to be more careful with how I approach different things. I try to be careful with how I frame certain words and responses because I remember how things felt at a real young age, from elementary to middle school. Middle school ratcheted it up. High school things kind of calmed down a little bit, even though things were still kind of rough. But as a kid, fighting was a regular thing, dude. That was a regular thing. And
when you say rough, what do you mean? You talking about for you? Rough, like you
around in the environment. I'm not gonna lie and not say that I didn't contribute to a lot of this stuff, dude. I was incredibly negative. I was incredibly verbally negative, physically negative. I don't know what it is. I don't know because we didn't grow up in the worst environment ever. I mean, this is Virginia Beach. This is not.
This is Club Med.
This is not. Yeah, this is nothing. But we talked about it last time. You find the devil wherever you look for him. If you want to just break rules and if you want to do, you just find a way to you just do it. And for some reason, at a young age, I was a magnet for people that felt that same way. And I was a magnet. Then they were a magnet for me. We kind of just all gathered together. It's like do what we want or whatever. And in that environment, you know what it usually leads to? A joke goes too far, and someone's getting hit behind that joke. That's a lot of times what it was. The joke gets, you did this joke. Oh yeah, look at what you're wearing. Oh yeah, well, look at this. And then what about your mom? And what about your house? And what about your poop, 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 poop? Like they're throwing each other around. But yes, I remember for sure. And when I say a crowd, I say like 8, 9 people. Right now, I could visualize
like 8-year-olds.
I could visualize. You know what's messed up, and this is actually what's messed up too. I could visualize being about 9, 10 years old, surrounded by 18 and 19-year-olds. Who were egging us on to fight.
You're 4th and 5th grade.
Mm-hmm. With high schoolers.
See, when you said it earlier, you said 8, so I'm thinking like second graders. Like that just seems from my experiences, I don't remember people fighting each other in first and second grade.
Oh, no.
Now, fourth and fifth grade, you're getting to that age now where it's like, at least in my experience.
For sure, I can tell you third grade. Third grade was the start, for sure. Third grade was the start, and that just snowballed.
Yeah.
Snowballed pretty quickly.
I once played dodgeball in third grade because I was in Miss Klein's class, and I hit this kid in the freaking head so hard with those old school playground balls and dodgeball outside. We had, at Red Mill Elementary, we had it was like a caged in, you know what I'm talking about? Outside of the
A lot of schools
gym.
had that, yeah. Right outside of the wall of the gym, there was a cage.
Yeah. And dude, we were playing dodgeball in there, and I freaking threw this ball. It's like, it did that.
That was funny.
This dude chased me, wanted to kill me.
Hitting somebody like in the
Chasing
head
me
is
around,
funny.
dude.
Hitting him in the face is tough, dude. That jug hurts.
Yeah, no, I hit him in the side of the head. Like right,
and
right here.
It has that grippy.
Yeah. That was the closest
Like,
I
grips
ever
your
saw
flesh.
somebody like wanting to like pummel me. But that was third grade, yeah. So okay, that makes I get it.
Yeah, I don't know why I
Crowds
was.
of third
I don't know
graders
why I
egging
was
each
so
other on.
fortunate.
And you were around a bunch of, what'd you say, high schoolers?
Yeah, nah, that was thinking about it now. I'm like, yo, like that's wild. That like you know better. I don't know why I got the luck of the draw where it was like this. The ones I wanted to see children fight. I don't know why. I don't know why.
You were hanging out with these people?
Mm-hmm. This is the neighborhood times, man. This is the neighborhood times where you go out and you see everybody. People got brothers, older brothers,
we
cousins.
We had a shit ton of like teenagers that would roam our neighborhood too, but like I never wanted to hang out with them. I didn't understand them. They didn't want to hang out with us either. We're little kids.
Yeah, we hung out with people of all ages. Like thinking about it now, it's real diverse in terms of the age range, dude. It was wild. And then it was good. It was good stuff. Played a lot of football, a lot of baseball, a lot of baseball with that blue ball too, the handball. You just smack that across.
You talking about the racquetball?
Yeah, no, you play baseball with a metal bat and that blue ball. That junk is
home
gone.
run, dude, baby.
It's
Barry Bonds.
Always.
That's funny, man. We used to play manhunt.
Yeah, manhunt tag, pretty much. It's hide and seek
at night.
Yeah,
dude, I used to be out at night. Like, we're not doing that these days. I'm not letting my kids out at night. I'm not letting my elementary school kid go on his bike and just roam Indian Lakes and just let him go. I just don't think I'm going to be comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with that.
I pause because I think about that all the time. It's like, were the times worse or better now, or do we just know more? Is that stuff always there? Like, it's just
I think it's probably a bit of all of that. I think times are different. I think of course, there was child people snatching kids up back then when we were growing up too, and just like our parents' generation, there's been freaks since there were men. I do think the times have changed though, man. I think people are very different these days.
I think kids for sure have less interest in going outside to begin with.
Yeah.
That I think most people can agree with that. Is it more dangerous out or is it less dangerous? I don't know. I think we.
You know what I mean? I'd like to know.
I don't know.
If anybody would like to chime in the comments, please let us know. If you have children, are you letting them do what we did as kids? Are they getting on the bike and just going? Just go. No cell. Oh yeah, and they have no cell phone either. You got to remember those days. When we're growing up, it was just go. Like, that's crazy to think, right? Are you letting Hector get on a bike in a couple years with no phone, take his phone away, and just let him go?
Yeah, I don't know.
I am not doing it.
I feel like I'd like to have the courage to allow that. I think. Because see, here's the thing. I don't know if times have changed. I don't know. I know that when we were growing up,
I feel like we hear about.
And I don't mean to
now.
paint the horrific picture to anyone. I don't want my parents to see, oh my God, he went through so much. We knew what happened. It was always amongst the friends that we all knew. And we were talking about this last night. The person that's going to steal from you is the person that knows you. Mm-hmm. The person that's going to fight with you is many times the person that knows you.
It's the company you keep.
It's your friend, and that's why I'm always careful with that word. It's like, would a friend punch in your mouth? Would a friend steal from you? I guess things change, right? I guess the relationship changes or whatever.
Well, younger
I don't
kids
know.
Maybe, but
that's why I'm always
aren't going to fist fight each other.
That's why I always have
friends.
a love hate. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can you imagine? Like a 35-year-old dudes that have been friends forever and they get into an argument where you're gonna fight each other. No, you're just gonna go, dude, screw yourself. We're just not gonna talk anymore.
Yeah, I don't remember how. And
I had to shun somebody recently in the last year. Shunned.
This is the T-Rex age or whatever. Oh yeah, that's funny.
You don't fight. You just go, okay, dude, you're an idiot, and then you're done, and then you delete each other on social media and don't text each other anymore, and then you just don't see each other anymore.
So I say the T-Rex thing because it's like when you're little, it's like the T-Rex is 400 feet.
Right.
I feel like I remember seeing adults fight, but maybe back then they were just like 20
Like
years.
fighting?
Maybe, yeah, but maybe they were like 20 and 19, and then since I was younger, I
was
thought they were
fighting?
grown or whatever. Like I
don't
thought, I thought they were grown.
I guess I just never saw it. I just never saw these kind of things.
Well, very
And it's all good.
varying.
I'm
Very,
not saying they didn't happen.
very
Clearly
varying
they did.
experiences from just one neighborhood to the other. It's just different. It's just you can't. They were talking about the United States, how big the United States is. It's like if from neighborhood to neighborhood, you were having a different
Dude, 4
experience.
blocks.
Imagine what it is state to state.
Yeah, man.
And life is good. To me, it's funny. I always saw those things as like it ain't a big deal. I just could. It's part of it. It's like it was always like, hey, you said the wrong thing. You got smacked. Oh well, that's what happened to you. You rolling around, fist fight and stuff like that.
Yeah, I fought in school a number of times, but I never fought with like outside of school. Like I guess I just didn't have many friends. Maybe that was it. I didn't hang out with many people out of school. You know, there was a couple of kids in my court that I grew up in that I hung out with, and I played basketball out there and threw the football. But I wasn't like, you know, the Sandlot dude. We're going around boom, doom, 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 you know, and I'm hanging out with 18-year-olds. Like I've never was in my
You know,
reality.
Well, we were like in an apartment complex, and it was pretty big. So and there was like a wide range, like people stacked living on top of each other, right next to each other. Like it's funny when you have that kind of environment where people are living on top of each other like that. Like it's just, I think it's a little different. I think the tension can be palpable, like
between different
like
families.
you going out into the Serengeti when you step out that front door, like it's
Maybe. I mean,
It's a
you
little-
know where I live right now. We're on top of each other right now. I don't feel that way at all.
No, but those are more houses. I think when you literally have people that living above you, below you, and the houses are crammed together, like in a neighborhood or whatever, like it's different. It's a little different. And maybe some areas are not. Again, I had a fantastic childhood. I love it. I think back to it. We're just talking about what were we talking about? It's something led to it about.
I don't know.
Oh,
we were having a fun, silly goose time,
Do people
and then we
change?
got real serious.
Oh no, I don't think it did. It's
Well,
just-
more
it's-
a serious turn.
Awareness is all I was talking about. I don't know where it got to that turn.
Let's go back to talking about comic book dressing up as Wonder Woman.
Well, back then there was a lot of that. You know what's funny? Back then, even with the violence, if you could even call that, whatever, which wasn't even that big of a deal. There was still toys, comic books, trading cards. We traded a lot of cards back in the X-Men card days. A lot of trading cards. I still got a lot of those cards that I kept. Part of that is I'm a sentimental person too. I was explaining that to somebody we met this weekend about, you know, they were hanging out in that room and there was a lot of video games, and I told them, I said, you know why I got all those games? He's like, because I'm sentimental. I enjoyed thinking back to the times. These certain games remind me of certain periods in my life and certain people I played games with. You sit down in front of the TV side by side and play a game. And I keep all these things. I keep a lot of toys. I still have a lot of my original toys from back in the day. I still have them. I keep them in a box just because I'm sentimental that way. I like remembering different times.
You ever so what do you do with that box? You just occasionally open it up and like look
Some
at
of the stuff I have like on display. Some of the stuff I let Hector just take in and he plays with them. And some of them I just keep put away. Yeah, like on rare occasion I'll open them up and look at them and just
Isn't
remember.
it funny how, like, you know, we've moved a number of times now, and it's like we just keep taking crap with us that we're just never gonna get out. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like I'm like, you ever look around your house and you're like, especially when you move, dude, you're like looking at like these giant tubs of shit that you just haven't. I'm like, why am I keeping all this? Have I used it in the last 6 months? I'm very opposite. I don't. You know, it's funny, and I kick myself in my own butt for this. I have very little from my time in the Marine Corps. Very little. You know, it was a big part of my life and did a lot of crazy things in the Marine Corps. And especially my first 4 years in DC, I don't have any like photos. I don't have anything. Very little. And that I wish I could have back. I wish I can go back and make sure I document that a little bit more. It's so easy to document things now. But back then, you know, this is pre-cell phone. You actually had to have a camera. And I don't have any of that.
I have very few. Very few.
Yeah.
What is unfortunate is the amount of people I was around and don't keep in touch with today. And that's just part of growing up, I guess.
Well, you kind of alluded to that earlier, where the older you get, like your circle gets smaller. And I don't think that's solely for you. I think a lot of people, that's what happens.
Well, you get kids and your focus is different. Like I got a kid to take care of. I got a
career,
house. I got a job or whatever. It's funny. I came across somebody from a long time ago. We were playing Call of Duty last night. And his old friend, like,
What's Call of Duty?
Yeah, cool. Dude, what's called? Dude,
What's rap?
You should know. You
should know this.
You should get in touch with your culture more.
Anyway, I'll make you
a playlist of games to play.
Okay,
later.
good.
No, but from a long time ago, and I was playing with Jeremy, and he was like, "Hey, Chris is gonna jump on." I'm like, "Who?" And he was like, "Is that Revy?" And I'm like, "Who is this?" It's a friend from it was 13 years ago, and picked up right where we left off. Nothing ever happened. I'm just great? And I'm thinking, I'm like, this is wild. So many is that how easy it is?
A lot of times it is.
Is that how easy it is? I think. I mean, you and me kind of picked up things pretty much. Pretty quickly.
We went right back
pretty quickly.
I'm sure.
And I wonder, it's not. Maybe some of those moments are still easy to recapture. Maybe you just reach out. It's this.
Well, there's always you see the age-old adage that the real true friends can go years without talking and then pick right back up like nothing happened. Like you'd talk to them yesterday or something. And I have people like that. But you're right. I mean, I used to know thousands of people, that you come in contact with and consider, more than an acquaintance, like they were your buddies. And maybe you'll just never talk to these people ever again. Isn't that crazy? Here's something, a weird phenomenon. I watched a video of somebody recently, one of my Facebook friends, and you forget what people sound like. I've been friends with this lady for years, and I see her posts from time to time, and I see pictures and, everybody's, slideshow of all the great things they've ever done in their whole life. But then it's I saw a video of her and she was talking, and I was like, oh yeah, you did sound like that, didn't you? It's you forget what these people sound like. I commented one. My old teaching partner Shanna, she had posted a video, and I heard her voice. I was like, it's so good to hear your voice. So people don't have that problem with me, I guess, because they hear me every week. But anyway, I thought that was kind of a weird little phenomenon that happens. It's oh yeah, that's what you sounded like. I remember now. It's kind of cool. It was neat. It was seeing. It was a feeling I haven't felt in a long time. It was oh wow.
And you didn't. You haven't done this, and don't seem to have any interest, and I haven't either. And I don't know if it's messed up to not to, but the whole high school reunion thing.
Oh no!
I never.
I have no interest in doing that. People live. That's a stupid thing to say. I was about to say people live their whole life waiting for that kind of stuff. I don't know if they're doing that.
Some people enjoy that, and I guess it's cool. And you know what? Maybe from the outside looking in, there's certain things that maybe I wish I cared about more.
Dude, I'm trying to
think.
It
seems nice. It seems cool to
Who would I? You seem like you were way more popular than me in school. You communicate with a lot more people. I don't know who I would even in my graduating class. I don't know who I would hang out with. Sorry, I just don't know. I'd have to really look. I'd have to look on Facebook and go, okay, I'd hang out with this person. Okay, maybe I'd go talk to them. But off the top of my head, I'm maybe some kids from marching band, maybe. But I don't know who. It would just be so awkward, wouldn't it?
It'd probably be. I think it'd probably be cool. Well, I don't know.
What are you gonna do? They're gonna play a bunch of music from when we were in high school. You ever think about it? I've never been to one. What do they do? What do they do with these reunions? They eat. I
don't know. I'm trying to visualize
it's like a banquet thing, right? I don't know.
You do a whole who's who, and then what are you doing now, and where are you now?
Does everybody get to go up in front and give their 60-second what I've been up to elevator pitch and what you do now?
I don't even know. All I know is from movies and TV shows. I assume that you go around the room and you're like, hey, what have you been up to? How's life been? Show me your kids.
It's a mingle thing, right? Do they play music? Is it like a dance?
Yeah, I don't know. But I wish I cared more about those things. I wish I was more social to an extent, dude. I wish I sought after more social functions and was a better mingler and whatever. Yeah.
Do you really want that?
To an extent, I've tried to work on that. I've tried to work on going into a room and being a little more present. Because
it's for you, not for me. Anybody else.
If you leave me to my own devices, I will walk into a crowded room and not say a word, and it will not bother me one bit.
So why are you trying to do it? Why are you trying to better it?
I think in business it's important.
In business, okay.
I think it's important to have the characteristic.
I was trying to figure out the why.
Yeah, no, I think in business it's important to have that characteristic to speak out a little more.
Dude, you're great at that. What are you talking about? You must have worked a lot.
Well, I've made a conscious effort
to
you've
like,
worked
to
speak.
Ever since we got back together.
Especially in the early days, I had to constantly remind myself, you should be saying something now. I literally would like psych myself up, like, say something. Say something. You should say something. Don't, just something.
We have literally recently on this show told people not to do that. You don't have to just say things just to say things.
No, but I think in business, if you go in deathly quiet, like I would comfortably go into a social situation and not, like I said, it doesn't bother me. I think a lot of times the feedback I have gotten, if I think back to like over the years, I think people confuse that with arrogance. Not to say that I'm not an arrogant person. I work on that as well. But I think people think that if you stay quiet, it's like you think you're better than them. It's kind of what I felt people think. So I'm kind of like trying to open up a little more in my later years in life.
To swing it all the way back, I have changed in that regard. You mentioned arrogance. I was a very cocky young man, especially when I got to the Marine Corps. And just because it's funny, and we laugh about this.
I think a lot of people fresh out of boot camp feel like Superman.
Oh, I was never. Oh, no. I wasn't the whole because I'm a Marine now I'm cocky. I'm just talking about as a young man, I was much more, hey, listen, y'all need to hear what I got to say because I want to be the center of attention. And I still am kind of that way. But Facebook loves to remind me of how much of a douchebag I was. Like a total douche. Like the guy that I hate now, like guys that I can't stand now, I'm like, oh, I was that. Oh, I was that. It was like this day 9 years ago, and it'll just say something that I posted. Like I'm like reading it, going, "Bro, why are you telling everybody that? Like, why did you word it like that? You sound like a total douche. You sound like an idiot. Shut up." I'm telling myself to shut up on Facebook. Loves to remind me of how far I've come and just maybe
we seek to grow.
Yeah, no, and I'm not that way as much as I am, or as much as I was. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tony. You see me more than my wife. And that is not a lie.
Well, that happens. I think everybody can relate to that comment right there. You will see your coworkers more than you see your family, which is, you start thinking about that, it's kind of sad.
It's very sad.
This is society, and this is where we are, and we can mope about it or accept it and make
just
the best of the moments you have.
I love it's like, you grind in your 20s and you're done. Nope, you kind of grind always in this day and age, right? Yeah, the grind never stops.
And I think it's not realistic. I think that there is no, I'm going to work my butt off today to hit that huge freaking opportunity and never have to work again. Like, you always have to do something. You got to stay productive.
Yeah.
And I think we'd be suited to speak a lot with older people. I'm fortunate enough to, in church, I'm surrounded by people that are more advanced in age. And I think they'll tell you that inactivity is what makes you old. To be present. Go around, do stuff, be present in your family's lives, try to be social, try to learn new information. Because you might have heard this. A lot of people don't want to retire because they feel like they'll die. There's just like a real fear of like, as soon as I retire, I'm going to die. I become useless, and 2 years later, I'll die. I got to keep working. I got to stay on the grind. It's for better or for worse. You define your happiness. But I have been around people that were of retirement age and they're like, nah, I have to keep working. I have to do something. I will drive myself nuts at home, watching TV. I've got to stay productive. I have to feel useful.
Yeah.
People feel that. And I can respect that. I get it. Because I like to feel useful. Everybody likes to feel useful, I think. You don't want to feel like you don't matter in a room. You want to feel worth and usefulness.
Anybody else with the Facebook reminding them of how far they've come in terms of just, let's just say what you used to post on social media. Oh man, I hate myself. No, my former self. I hate it. I'm like looking at it, going, dude, come on. It doesn't like bother me, but it does make me chuckle. It does. The memories, man. The memories.
Seek to grow, and with that, we're wrapping up.
Bye, everybody.
I am Tony.
I'm Matt.
This has been the Tsunami Podcast.
And here we go.
Shebang.
And bang. Thank you. You want to turn first? I'll turn first. Oh, hey. Dude, we suck.